Welcome to Backyard Bows. Hey, welcome to Backyard Bows. I'm Brandon, and today's bow we got the Diamond Edge XT. So, for a while now, I've wanted to get a Diamond in here to review. This bow, the Edge XT from this year, it's new to 22, was the most requested bow on our Instagram questionnaire. So I went to go purchase it a long time ago, and I'll be the first to say, I actually held off from purchasing it because online, there was something about it that just, I'll be honest, I just didn't like the way it looked. And again, me spending my money on these bows, I had a hard time purchasing this one. Since I've done it, and I've got it in here in my hands, I've liked it more and more, okay? At first glance, it looked like it was Batman's bow, okay? There was something about it that I didn't like, but it's growing on me, okay? The specs I love. So we got 31-inch axle, the axle, a brace height of 6.75 inches, which is like perfect. It's really nice and light at 3.7 pounds. The only thing that kind of caught my other eye was it's only 300 feet per second IBO, which in today, even I kind of was like, oh, that's a little slower than we've been seeing. But there was a time, and I've read this time and time again, there was a time when bow companies were trying to get to 300 feet IBO. And once they did, man, that was top speeds, the fastest bow you could get. And everybody was so excited and happy to have bows that were reaching those speeds. And so now we're up to about the 350. The Omen from PSE, it's even getting more than 350. So again, we keep pushing that ceiling, but at a certain point in time, we all thought 300 feet per second IBO was insane. So once I kind of reconsidered that, I took a step back and kind of went back to my own personal feeling of just comfort over speed to me. This is plenty fast, and we'll see when it goes through the chronograph on what it actually gets with my 500 grain arrow, but I'm a firm believer, well-placed shots at 20, 30 yards, once you get over 250 feet per second, the arrow and the bow will do the work. So the draw length, it has a 12.5-inch fluctuation. It goes from 19 to 31 inches, and it has a 50-pound fluctuation with the draw weight. So it goes from 70 pounds, which is what it's at right now, all the way down to 20 pounds. So again, if you're looking to grow with a bow, this is another one of those beginner bows where you're looking to grow with, but they're also claiming that it is a very well-made bow suited for an experienced hunter too. So we'll see once we start shooting it. It is a full package deal, so it comes with their package, which is Diamonds. It's called Octane. I actually, out of all the packages, I like it one of the best. Things that I look for, mounting screws for the sight and the rest. The screws are going into metal. The actual rest of the sight itself is plastic. That's okay to me. Obviously, you got to be a little bit more careful with that, but you do want to be able to tighten it down as good as you can get. You have two places to mount your rest, which I love. This little stabilizer on front, solid rubber. I don't mind that either. I think one of my favorite things about these Octane packages, which it seems kind of weird, but I love these wrist slings from Diamond Archery. It's just this little fabric band, but they're really comfortable. And ever since I bought my first, Icon, carbon Icon that came with one of these, I loved it. So, cable guard, what we see on the budget bows, plastic cable containment system sliding on that rod. One of the other really unique things that caught my eye on this bow in the shop once I finally went and picked it up was it has this peep sight. It splits the string 3 ways. And obviously what it does is it eliminates your peep from rotating. So my first instinct was that, man, one of these strings is gonna be in your line of sight and it's gonna kind of blur that line of vision. Weirdly, it doesn't. I think it's so close to your face that your eye just kind of adjusts right past it and you honestly can't see anything. But I do like it because it makes it so your string never twists, never adjusts, your peep never twists, it never needs adjustment. It just stays right there. So that's kind of cool too, something unique that we haven't seen much of. You got these nice dampeners, one top, there's one on bottom, man, it came with a, you know, the full package. So you got your quiver. Again, I like this package. I like the way it's set up. I'm actually really excited to shoot this. The more and more I've kind of held it in my hand, the more and more you realize that it's a nice, well set up bow, and well made. Well made. You got a whole bunch of metal where we usually see plastic. So you got metal limb pockets. I think altogether it's a pretty solid bow for the price. So it's 460 bucks out the door. It's not bad at all. Let's go ahead. Let's sling a couple inside here. And then today is an absolute steamer. So we'll go shoot as much as we can. But it is toasty outside. The grip, it's a little short, top to bottom. It kind of feels like it's made for a child's hand. And it's a little bit thin for me. I think Bowtech across the board has kind of been putting out more and more really, really thin grips. But some people like that, some people don't. I understand the reasoning behind it, but it's just not, it's not as comfortable to me. So again, you think that one of these strings will be in the, you know, because you can kind of see it as it comes in, but then once it's right in front of your face, it goes away and it's just like a normal peep. It's kind of cool. The draw, man, Bowtech across the board, the draws that they somehow get are incredible. So even for this budget bow that's made by Diamond Archery, which is a sub company of Bowtech, the draw is, I mean, 6 inches after you start your draw, it just comes back with ease. Honestly, and I've said this with like the Solution SS, it's like it helps itself backwards. You honestly aren't even assisting it that much. It just flows right back. And this is, it feels like a really small bow. So you got the riser, which is only 22 inches. And then you got these vertical limbs that get you that 31-inch axle to axle, but the bow itself is super compact. You know, my vision for this bow would be a perfect blind bow. I mean, you have so much maneuverable room. It's so light. This would be a perfect bow for a blind, just like this, all black. Let's shoot a couple more. So you got a little punch back at your hand, little bit of vibration. The noise isn't that bad. A little bit of vibration in your hand. And then for being such a compact bow with such a small riser, you know, a little bit of concentration goes into the balancing. But for the most part, the balancing is, you know, maybe one of the only things that I'm noticing that it's, you know, being so compact, it's a little tough. And it kind of wants to move on you a little bit. But yeah, I think that just kind of comes with, again, the trade-off of such a compact, light bow. You know, got a little bit of vibration, does want to move a little bit on you. But man, the draw cycle is awesome. I'm excited. Let's go outside. Let's sling some arrows and have a day. So, you know, I'll be the first to say it. I still, even though I know I'm not supposed to, or I shouldn't, and I have enough experience with so many bows that, you know, the last thing you want to do is kind of judge a book by its cover when it comes to these compound bows, but I did. Even with this one online, it took me a second to finally pull the trigger and buy. I just didn't like the way it looked. I'm not a big fan of really short riser, but the whole bow itself has grown on me a little bit. I think a full draw is when I'm feeling the most, you know, it's a little jumpy, and then also it has a really thin platform, short platform, so it's kind of, the pins want to move around on you a little bit. But we'll do our freestyle shoot. We'll shoot at all of our 3D targets. Most of the time I shoot from up here and over there. But then in between, I'll kind of walk around the yard and just shoot at different angles all over the yard. So we really get after it. We'll go turkey, then we'll go to the boar, then we'll shoot at the buck, and then we'll jump across the yard and shoot some of those longer range shots. I would say one of the things I like about it the most is the draw. It has a nice smooth draw. I really wish it locked out a little bit more in full draw, because it does want to, you know, pull on you a hair. But the draw is nice and smooth. Man, and again, I think I pointed out inside, but it has like a little snap, you know. The noise isn't my, I hate when a bow is loud. And again, I get them, I tighten everything down, I double check it, triple check it before we come out here and start shooting, and it just hasn't really gone away. It has a nice thud to it. But let's shoot one at the deer, and then we'll jump over and shoot some longer range shots. All right, let's get over there. We'll do a couple from a longer distance. So we'll go to the broadhead buck and then to the bear and then up to the elk. So we got 30, 40, and 50. In full draw, man, it's hard to hold still. It's not a very sturdy, you know, fully set up. It's not as sturdy as I like to see. But, you know, I like the axle length, but like I mentioned before, it's like 22 inches is the length of this riser. It's really short. And earlier, like the first thing I noticed was that grip. The more and more I shoot this, the more I'm thinking this is a perfect bow for a younger, not even beginner, but just a young kid who wants to grow a little bit with a bow and save himself some money that way. Because the quality of the bow is great. Let's do one more on this buck. But I think the frame is made more for a kid. And you know, they're claiming it's for a kid or an experienced hunter. I think that's a sales pitch, because I think, you know, this is a perfect bow for those mid-teens. Let's go to the bear. But I like the package that it comes with. I love this Octane stuff. Very easy to use module, you know, something, you got those 2 screws again, rotates easy. Very simple system. But I would say, and I think this peep too that I mentioned, it's unique. I actually like it. You don't have to mess with your peep at all, ever. It just stays perfect. Let's go. Babe, you can go to the elk. We'll go reset up and we'll do a couple on that elk. All right, so the number one and most important thing to me on a bow is the stability when you're in full draw, how it holds. And it's crazy how much it'll change from bow to bow to bow. I would say that's my least favorite thing about this. I love the draw, the quality's great, but for some reason in full draw, it doesn't set up like I want it to. And I don't think you can really even know, really know if a bow, how it does set up and how stable it is in full draw until you get out to about 50 yards. And you might say, well, I don't ever shoot that in the field. Well, I think it's good to anyway. Find a range, find somewhere where you can get out to 50. I think it'll tell you a lot about your bow. And then as you work your way back into those 20, 30 yard shots, they'll feel like a chip shot, going into your, what you're actually going to be hunting. But I think the 50-yard shot is the most important. And this is kind of where we spend most of the time during these reviews. But we'll go get up to the elk at 50. But other than that, and obviously that's an important one, but other than that, I love this thing. you know, it's a nice bow. The quality is awesome for the 450 bucks that you're gonna spend on it. And I think for a kid, this might be, you know, this is just a really high-end bow for somebody who's starting out or a younger person. This is a great bow. And as I mentioned, the more you shoot with something, the more comfortable it gets, the more adjustments that you can make. It shoots great. It just, you know, something I always notice is kind of how quickly the pins dial down. Let's go one more on the elk. Man, all right. We're gonna go run it through the chronograph. We'll do our little speed test. Then we'll shoot a whole bunch and then we'll. Okay, so I love doing the speed test. I constantly talk about how I'm comfort over speed, but for some reason I love the speed test. I'm a numbers guy. This will be the slowest IBO rating bow we've gotten here yet. So 300 feet per second IBO. I'm thinking it's gonna be somewhere around 250, but we will see. 264. So again, man, I feel like I say this every time, but you know, if you try to do comparisons between IBO ratings, which we are always assuming are correct, okay? We just kind of trust that the IBO ratings they're giving us are correct. And I would say there's been a couple times where I feel like they can't be what they say they are because of the tests that we do. So 264, this is money. This is a great speed. 271. Let's do a couple more since that jumped a little bit. But I mean, this is right, you know, and they're claiming, I feel like an honest 300 feet IBO. Bump up the grain of the arrow. You know, it really doesn't drop that much. This is 269, so right there, let's say 270 is where it's probably gonna top out at. We'll do one more, but I like this speed for this bow. I was expecting a little bit less, but that's nice. So that's 278. So this jumped around quite a bit, which I don't necessarily like to see. And because it's doing that, we're gonna do our one final one. You know how I like to do it. But you know, that went from 263 to 278 within 5 shots, 267. So yeah, I'm thinking accurately, it's probably more around 267, 268 to 270 range. But that's nice. That's nice speeds. Okay, we got a grade for the Edge XT from Diamond. So Diamond is a sub company of Bowtech. They make all of their, I would say, kids and budget bows, or a lot of them. So right off the bat, almost got a little fluctuation with that speed test we did, but I think the majority of them were right in 269, 270, so it gets the 8 out of the 10. Quality, I also gave it an 8 out of 10. It's a very clean bow, very well put together, metal in the places where I like to see it. The riser's really solid. I mean, altogether, even the package items on it were pretty solid. So I think for a package deal budget bow, it got an 8 out of 10. Appeal, I gave it a 7. Didn't want to knock it too hard, but it just wasn't that look that I like. And then you go to the technical. It does have a little fluctuation with the weight and the draw length, but not as much as some of those other bows that we've seen. And other than that, it is as basic as you can get. So we gave it a 6 for the technology. And then to the performance, I also gave it a 6. The draw was incredibly smooth. I loved the draw. The hold, not so much. Really short riser. It just, you know, the platform, the limb pockets and limbs are really, really thin, and it just wouldn't set up for me like I like. The pins kind of seemed to take a while to kind of dial down, and even when you did, it just wasn't a comfortable feeling in full draw to me. It wanted to jump on you a little bit. I just felt like you were straining it in that full draw position where you would like to seem a little bit more relaxed. Try to find that little in between of not too relaxed, and a little bit of strain, come somewhere right in the middle, but man, I seem to have been straining kind of the whole time to get it to where I wanted it. And that's kind of what I look for, you know, for performance. In the end, when it all comes down to it, the hold is the most important part for me. So 6 out of 10, gave it the +3 because you can get it for about $460. Anywhere under $1,000, we give you those +3, $1,000 to $1,500 +2, above $1,500 +1. And if you're paying over $2,000 for a bow, you don't get any makeup points. So 47 out of 50 gives it that 74 out of 100. So a nice solid C grade. Overall, I think it's a great bow for any, you know, any child looking to grow with a really nice quality bow for a little bit. I think this is a perfect bow for you. The more and more I shot it, the more and more it felt like a child's bow, where I feel like every company, they try to make a bow that fluctuates, that also accommodates an advanced hunter, but that just wasn't the feeling I get. I'd say this is the perfect kid's bow to grow with for a little bit. Don't buy a bow off a single bow review. If you found something helpful from this video or any of our videos, please like and subscribe our YouTube channel. Follow us on Instagram for more updates of what bows that we're gonna do next. Make sure you get your reps in on the daily. We'll see you next Saturday.